Today we're going to be reading Act 3 of Romeo and Juliet. You want to open up your textbook to page 425 and make sure that you have a pen or a pencil because we will be annotating and I will be checking your annotations. Last week we read Act 2, and as you know, Romeo and Juliet had their famous balcony scene where they pledged their love to each other, and they got married at the end of Act 2. Now we're going to see what happens after they get married. You see this picture here at the beginning? This is a picture of Tybalt. Remember, Tybalt is mad at Romeo for crashing the Capulet party? Well, that's going to come back to hurt Romeo in this act. So it says, in Act 2, Romeo and Juliet express their mutual love and enlist the aid of Juliet's nurse and Friar Lawrence to arrange a secret marriage ceremony. As the act closes, the young couple is about to be married. Before performing the ceremony, the friar warns, "These violent delights have violent ends." Consider how the statement might hint at events that will occur in Act 3 or later in the play. So we are going to read by listening to the play in the audio recording.
Now old desire doth in his deathbed lie, and young affection gapes there. That fair for which love groaned for and would die, with tender Juliet matched, is not fair. Romeo is beloved and loved.
Sorry, class, I got it all ready to go and then realized that was Act 2 recording. So here's Act 3.
I pray thee, good Mercutio, let's retire. The day is hot, the Capulets abroad, and if we meet, we shall not scape a brawl. For now these hot days is the mad blood stirring.
Benvolio, thou art like one of these fellows that when he enters the confines of a tavern, claps me his sword upon the table and says, "God send me no need of thee." And by the operation of the second cup, draws him on the drawer when indeed there is no need.
Am I like such a fellow?
Come, thou art as hot a jack in thy mood as any in Italy, and as soon moved to be moody, and as soon moody to be moved.
Oh, not so. At what two?
Nay, if there were two such, we should have none shortly, for one would kill the other. Thou wilt quarrel with a man.
Okay, let's pause there just for a second because this quote by Benvolio, he's saying, let's go, Mercutio, like it's getting late and I see some Capulets hanging around and I'm afraid that we may not escape a brawl. We may not escape a fight. So Benvolio recommends they go home so they don't get in a fight with the Capulets. So Benvolio knows that if the Capulets were to start a fight, then they can't back down, but so that he believes, because he's the peacemaker, that it would be better just to go home and then they don't have to even worry about backing down on a fight. And Mercutio is kind of making fun of Benvolio and saying, oh, well, you just want to leave because you're afraid to fight. And Benvolio's like, oh, really? I'm afraid to fight? And so Mercutio is the one that is kind of the jokester of the group, and he is, like egging on Benvolio and basically like, what, are you chicken? Like you're not going to want to fight? And Benvolio is just he's trying to be the rational, level-headed one. I kind of wish they would listen to him. We're up here.
A hair more or a hair less in his beard than thou hast. Thou wilt quarrel with a man for cracking nuts, having no other reason but because thou hast hazel eyes. What eye but such an eye would spy out such a quarrel? Thy head is as full of quarrels as an egg is full of food, and yet thy head head hath been beaten as adolescent egg for quarreling. Thou hast quarreled with a man for coughing in the street, because he hath wakened thy dog that hath lain asleep in the sun. Didst thou not fall out with a tailor for wearing his new doublet before Easter, with another for tying his new shoes with an old ribbon? And yet thou wilt tutor me from quarreling.
If I were so apt to quarrel as thou art, any man should buy the fee simple of my life for an hour and a quarter.
The fee's simple, simple.
By my head, here come the Capulets.
By my heel, I care not.
Follow me close, for I will speak to them.
Aye, Tybalt, aye.
Gentlemen, good day. A word with one of you.
And but one word with one of us. Couple it with something. Make it a word and a blow.
You shall find me apt enough to that, sir, and you'll give me occasion.
Could you not take some occasion without giving?
Mercutio, thou consortest with Romeo.
Consort! What dost thou make us minstrels?
Aye.
And thou make minstrels of us, look to hear nothing but discords. Here's my fiddlestick. Here's that shall make you dance. Zoons, consort!
We talk here in the public haunt of men. Either withdraw unto some private place and reason coldly of your grievances, or else depart. Here all eyes gaze on us.
Men's eyes were made to look, and let them gaze. I will not budge for no man's pleasure eye.
Okay, so Tybalt comes and he wants to speak with Romeo, because remember, Tybalt wants to fight Romeo. And Benvolio's like, let's get out of here. I don't want to start a fight. And Mercutio's like all tough and puts his feet up. And he's like, I don't care if he wants to fight. Let him come and fight me. I'm not afraid. And even just before that, Benvolio said, Mercutio, you are way too willing to fight. Like, if I were that willing to fight, then I wouldn't live very long. And Mercutio's just like, I'm not afraid to die. Well, famous last words. And so again, Benvolio says, hey, we're out in the public. Like, we need to go somewhere private, or we got to go somewhere private. All these eyes are on us. And no, if we fight in the public again, then the punishment is death. So tries to get them to leave the public place, afraid of punishment. So you see how Benvolio really is like the voice of reason. And now Romeo's going to enter. Now remember, Romeo has just married Juliet. He's like literally just married Juliet. He just left Friar Lawrence's cell, and he's so just happy that he just married Juliet. And he's going to enter, and he's entering into this kind of scene where it seems like, you know, Tybalt might want to fight him.
Well, peace be with you, sir. Here comes my man.
But I'll be hanged, sir, if you wear your livery. Marry, go before the field. He'll be your follower. Your worship in that sense may call him man.
Romeo! The love I bear thee can afford no better term than this. Thou art a villain.
Tybalt, the reason that I have to love thee doth much excuse the appertaining rage to such a greeting. Villain am I none, therefore farewell. I see thou knowest me not.
Boy, this shall not excuse the injuries thou hast done me. Therefore turn and draw.
I do protest I never injured thee, but love thee better than thou canst devise, till thou shalt know the reason of my love. And so, good Capulet, which name I tender as dearly as mine own, be satisfied.
What? Romeo? Oh, calm, dishonorable, vile submission. A stoccata carries it away. Tybalt, you rat catcher, will you walk? What?
Okay, so Tybalt wants to fight Romeo, and Romeo has just married Tybalt's cousin. And so now by marriage, they are related. So Romeo can't tell Tybalt this, and Mercutio, his friend, knows nothing about his marriage to Juliet. So Romeo is like, Tybalt, like, calm down. You know, I can't tell you now why I love you, but like, we're family. Like, he doesn't say we're family, but he's like, I don't want to hurt you. I actually like think you're pretty good, and I'll tell you later why I think that. But he's like back down. So Romeo backs down from the fight and like essentially kind of walks away from the fight. And Mercutio, he is like, like you don't walk back down from a fight. Like Mercutio has no idea that Romeo just married Juliet, and he feels like this is like blasphemy or really well, dishonorable that he's backing down from a fight. And so he says, oh, calm, dishonorable, vile submission. So he's like, Romeo, if you won't fight, I'll fight Tybalt. And Tybalt is like, well, what's your problem with me? Because remember, Mercutio is not a Capulet or a Montague. Mercutio is a member of the royal family, the prince's family. And so Tybalt's like, I have no beef with you, Mercutio. And Mercutio then is basically going to taunt Tybalt and be like, well, you want to back down from a fight with me? Then fine, back down from a fight with me. And Tybalt's like, nope, I'll fight you. And so Tybalt and Mercutio start fighting.
Thou have with me.
Good king of cats, nothing but one of your 9 lives, that I mean to make bold withal, and as you shall use me hereafter, dry beat the rest of the 8. Will you pluck your sword out of his pletcher by the ears? Make haste, lest mine be about your ears ere it be out.
I am for you.
Gentle Mercutio, put thy rapier up.
Come, sir, your passado. Huh?
Stop, Benvolio! Be down your weapons! Gentlemen, for shame! Forbear this outrage! Tybalt, Mercutio! The prince expressly hath forbid this bandying in Verona street. Hold, Tybalt, good Mercutio!
Away! Come then! Away!
I'm hurt. Like a plague on both your houses, I'm sped! Is he gone and hath nothing?
Okay, so that was very fast, that fighting scene. But Romeo is trying to stop the fight. And so while Romeo tries to stop the fight, he basically gets in the way of the fight, gets in the way of Mercutio, and Tybalt fatally stabs Mercutio. So Romeo doesn't want to fight. He's saying, like, take down your weapons. The princes forbade fighting in the streets. Like, stop. And they still fight. And while this happens, Mercutio is stabbed. And he says one of his most famous lines, a plague on both your houses. So he's saying that basically it's the Capulets and the Montagues' fault that he's now stabbed. And he's fatally stabbed, so that means he's going to die.
Hurt. Aye. A scratch. Mary, 'tis enough. Where's my page? Go, villain, fetch a surgeon.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Courage, man, the hurt cannot be much.
No, 'tis not so deep as a well, nor so wide as a church door, but 'tis enough. 'Twill serve. Ask for me tomorrow, and you shall find me a grave man. I am peppered. I warrant for this world a plague on both your houses soon. A dog, a rat, a mouse, a cat, to scratch a man to death. A braggart, a rogue, a villain that fights by the book of arithmetic. Why the devil came you between us? I was hurt under your arm.
I thought all for the best.
Help me into some house, Benvolio, or I shall faint. A plague on both your houses. They have made worms meat of me. I have it, and soundly too. Your houses!
Okay, so again he says a plague on both your houses. And this is kind of important because Mercutio blames Romeo for his death. So he blames Romeo for the fact that Romeo got in the way of the fight, but also because Romeo is part of the Montagues and Tybalt is part of the Capulets, and that's the whole reason why they were fighting. And he he blames Romeo for backing down from the fight and refusing to fight Tybalt. So Mercutio's like, well, you won't fight Tybalt, I'll fight him for you. And so there's kind of three reasons why Mercutio thinks Romeo is at fault. So Romeo is going to leave then with Benvolio, and Tybalt already ran away. Romeo's going to just kind of stay, and he's like talking to himself, and then Benvolio's going to be back and tell Romeo that Benvolio's dead. Now, how do you think Romeo is going to react when he finds out that that Mercutio is dead? His best friend has just died, and his best friend blamed him for his death. So how would you react? Well, we'll see.
This gentleman, the prince's near ally, my very friend, hath got this mortal hurt in my behalf. My reputation stained with Tybalt's slander. Tybalt, that an hour hath been my kinsman. Oh, sweet Juliet, thy beauty hath made me effeminate, and in my temper softened valor's steel.
Oh, Romeo, brave Mercutio's dead. That gallant spirit hath aspired the clouds, which too untimely here did scorn the earth.
This day's black fate on more days doth depend. This but begins the woe others must end.
Montague!
Here comes the furious Tybalt back again.
Montague!
Alive, in triumph, and Mercutio slain. Away to heaven respective lenity, and fire-eyed fury be my conduct now. Now, Tybalt, take the villain back again that late thou gavest me, for Mercutio's soul is but a little way above our heads, staying for thine to keep him company. Either thou or I or both must go with him.
Thou, wretched boy, that didst consort him here, shalt with him hence.
This shall determine that.
Okay, so Tybalt comes back, and Romeo is really mad at Tybalt. And he is yelling at Tybalt, saying, you're a villain, you just killed Mercutio, so now I'm going to fight you. And they're going to fight to the death. So either I'm going to kill you, Tybalt, this is what Romeo's saying, or Tybalt, you're going to kill me. But either way, that's how this is going to end. And it says, this shall determine that. And then they fight. And when they fight, Tybalt dies. So Romeo kills Tybalt as revenge for Tybalt killing Mercutio. So we're right here.
Romeo, away, be gone! The citizens are up and Tybalt slain! Stand not amazed! The prince will doom thee death if thou art taken! Hence, be gone! Away!
Oh, I am fortune's fool!
Why dost thou stay?
Farewell, farewell.
There's a man down.
What noise is here?
I can't see.
I know not. Which way ran he that killed Mercutio? Tybalt, that murderer, which way ran he?
There lies that Tybalt.
Up, sir. Go with me. I charge thee in the prince's name, obey.
He's dead, sir. Tybalt's dead. The House of Cap.
The prince! Prince! Ascanus!
Stand aside.
Where are the vile beginners of this fray?
Oh, noble prince, I can discover all the unlucky manage of this fatal brawl. There lies the man, slain by young Romeo. that slew thy kinsman, brave Mercutio.
Tybalt! My cousin! Oh, my brother's child! Oh, Prince! Oh, husband, oh, the blood is spilled of my dear kinsman! Prince, as thou art true, for blood of ours, shed blood of Montague! Oh, cousin, cousin!
Benvolio, who began this bloody fray?
Sire, Tybalt here slain, whom Romeo's hand did slay. Romeo that spoke him fair, bid him bethink how nice the quarrel was, and urged withal your high displeasure. All this, uttered with gentle breath, calm look, knees humbly bowed, could not take truce with the unruly spleen of Tybalt, deaf to peace, but that he tilts with piercing steel at bold Mercutio's breast, who, all as hot, turns deadly point to point, and with a martial scorn, with one hand beats cold death aside, and with the other sends it back to Tybalt, whose dexterity retorts it. Romeo, he cries aloud, hold, friends, friends, part. And swifter than his tongue, his agile arm beats down their fatal points, and twixt them rushes. Underneath whose arm, in envious thrust from Tybalt, hit the life of stout Mercutio, and then Tybalt fled. But by and by comes back to Romeo, who had but newly entertained revenge, and to it they go like lightning, for ere I could draw to part them, was stout Tybalt slain. And as he fell, did Romeo turn and fly. This is the truth, or let Benvolio die.
Okay, so I really like this line of Benvolio's. This is where he just explains the entire fight to the prince so that the prince can figure out what will be Romeo's punishment. So, yeah, you can read this and just understand that this is the explanation of the fight. Now, Lady Capulet is going to want the punishment for Romeo to be death because that was her nephew that just died, Tybalt. And however, Prince, remember, it's his relative who is Mercutio, who died from Tybalt's hand. So it's just like this big muddy death thing. And now Romeo's supposed to tell Juliet's family, hey, I killed your your nephew, but I just married your daughter in secret right before I killed him. So you'll be cool with that, right? That I married your daughter in secret, even though I killed your nephew. You know, that's not going to go over too well.
To the Montague. Affection makes him false. He speaks not true. Some 20 of them fought in this black strife, and all those 20 could but kill one life. No, I beg for justice, which thou, Prince, must give. Romeo slew Tybalt. Romeo must not live.
Romeo slew him, he slew Mercutio. Who now the price of his dear blood doth owe?
Not my son Romeo, Prince. He was Mercutio's friend. His fault concludes but what the law should end, the life of Tybalt.
And for that offense, immediately do we exile him hence. Montague, Capulet, I have an interest in your hate's proceeding. My blood for your rude brawls doth lie a-bleeding. But I'll immerse you with so strong a fine that you shall all repent the loss of mine.
But my lord,
I will be deaf to pleading and excuses, nor tears nor prayers shall purchase out abuses. Therefore use none. Let Romeo hence in haste, else when he is found, that hour is his last. Bear hence this body and attend our will. Mercy but murders, pardoning those that kill.
Okay, so Romeo's punishment is exile. So he has to leave Verona. Who lives in Verona? Well, his beloved Juliet. So Romeo punishment is exile from Verona. So he does not get put to death, but instead he is exiled. So he has to leave Verona and never come back. Now, people always ask, well, then why doesn't Juliet just follow him out of Verona? It's not that easy. She's only 13 and she's a woman, a girl, so she's very heavily guarded and she can't leave anywhere just by herself. She has to have a male escort to go somewhere. So that's why she doesn't just leave and go with him. Okay. So Romeo and Juliet, I think I need to, so Romeo and Juliet just got married. Then right after they get married, Romeo kills Juliet's cousin, Tybalt. And Juliet has no idea that this is happening. Instead, she's just super excited that she just got married, and now she can't wait for it to be night because Romeo's supposed to come and visit her that night. And they share their wedding night together. So this is a scene of Juliet kind of just giving her soliloquy, her monologue to herself, just expressing her feelings.
Take up the body. Bear it hence.
Yes, sir.
Gallop apace, you fiery-footed steeds, towards Phoebus' lodging. Such a wagoner as Phaeton would whip you to the west and bring in cloudy night immediately. Spread thy close curtain, love, performing night, that runaway eyes may wink, and Romeo leap to these arms untalked of and unseen. Lovers can see to do their amorous rites by their own beauties, or if love be blind, it best agrees with night. Come, civil night, thou sober-suited matron, all in black, and learn me how to lose a winning match, played for a pair of stainless maidenhoods. Hood my unmanned blood, bating in my cheeks with thy black mantle, till strange love, grown bold, think true love acted simple modesty. Come, night, come, Romeo, come thou day in night. For thou wilt lie upon the wings of night, whiter than new snow upon a raven's back. Come, gentle night, come, loving black-browed night, give me my Romeo, and when he shall die, take him and cut him out in little stars, and he will make the face of heaven so fine that all the world will be in love with night and pay no worship to the garish sun. Oh, I have bought the mansion of a love, but not possessed it, and though I am sold, not yet enjoyed. Oh, so tedious is this day, as is the night before some festival to an impatient child that hath new robes and may not wear them. Oh, here comes my nurse, and she brings news, and every tongue that speaks but Romeo's name speaks heavenly eloquence. Now, nurse, what news? What hast thou there, the cords that Romeo bid thee fetch?
Oh, aye, the cords. Oh.
Ay me, what news? Why dost thou wring thy hands?
Ah, where a day, he's dead, he's dead, he's dead. We're undone, lady, we are undone. Like the day he's gone, he's killed, he's dead.
Can heaven be so envious?
Romeo can, though heaven cannot. Oh, Romeo! Romeo! Whoever would have thought it? Romeo.
Okay, so the nurse knows that Romeo killed Tybalt, but the way she's saying it is Juliet thinks that she's saying that Romeo is dead, but the nurse is just saying that Romeo, she's like, oh, how could Romeo kill Tybalt? But she didn't say that yet, so Juliet thinks that Romeo's dead.
Oh, art thou that dost torment me thus? This torture should be roared in dismal hell. Hath Romeo slain himself? Say thou but I, and that bare vowel I shall poison more than the death-darting eye of cockatrice. I am not I, if there be such an eye, or those eyes shut that make the answer I. If he be slain, say I, or if not, no. Brief sounds determined of my weal or woe.
I saw the wound. I saw it with mine eyes. God save the mark here on his manly breast. Piteous corse, bloody piteous corse, pale, pale as ashes, all bedaubed in blood, all in gore blood. I swooned at the sight.
Oh, break my heart. Poor bankrupt, break at once. To prison eyes, ne'er look on liberty. Vile earth to earth resign, end motion here. And thou and Romeo press one heavy bier.
Oh, Tybalt.
Okay. So Juliet thinks Romeo is dead. And so she is like, oh my gosh, if Romeo's dead, then I am going to be dead. Then let my corpse go back to earth. Like, let me die with him if he's dead. So we're just going to write that Juliet thinks Romeo is dead. And already she's talking about joining him. So it kind of tells you about their, how quickly they turn to death as like the option or the best answer to their problems. So now we're going to find out that it's not Romeo's dead, it's Tybalt.
The best friend I had, oh courteous Tybalt, honest gentleman, that ever I should live to see thee dead.
What storm is this that blows so contrary? Is Romeo slaughtered, and is Tybalt dead? My dear loved cousin and my dear lord, then dreadful trumpet, sound the general doom. For who is living if those two are gone?
Tybalt is gone, and Romeo banished. Romeo that killed him, he is banished.
Oh, God! Did Romeo's hand shed Tybalt's blood?
It did. Alas, the day it did.
Oh, serpent heart hid with a flowering face. Did ever dragon keep so fair a cave? Beautiful tyrant, fiend Angelica, dove-feathered raven, wolvish ravening lamb, despised substance of divinest show, just opposite to what thou justly seemst, a damned saint, an honorable villain. Oh, nature! What hadst thou to do in hell when thou didst devour the spirit of a fiend in mortal paradise of such sweet flesh? Was ever book containing such vile matters so fairly bound? Ah, that deceit should dwell in such a gorgeous palace.
There's no trust, no faith, no honesty in men, all perjured, all forsworn, all not, all dissemblers. Ah, where's my man? Give me some aqua vitae. These griefs, these woes, these sorrows make me old. Shame come to Romeo.
Blistered be thy tongue for such a wish. He was not born to shame. Upon his brow shame is a shame to sit. For 'tis a throne where honor may be crowned, sole monarch of the universal earth. Oh, what a beast was I to chide at him!
Will you speak well of him that killed your cousin?
Shall I speak ill of him that is my husband? Ah, poor my lord. What tongue shall smooth thy name when I, thy 3 hours wife, have mangled it? But wherefore, villain, didst thou kill my cousin? That villain cousin would have killed my husband. Back, foolish tears, back to your native spring. Your tributary drops belong to woe, which you, mistaking, offer up to joy. My husband lives, that Tybalt would have slain, and Tybalt's dead, that would have slain my husband. All this is comfort. Wherefore we by then? Some word there was, worser than Tybalt's death, that murdered me. I would forget it fain, but it presses to my memory like damned guilty deeds to sinners' minds. Tybalt is dead, and Romeo banished. That one word, banished, hath slain 10,000 Tybalts. Tybalt's death was woe enough if it had ended there. Or if sour woe delights in fellowship, and needly will be ranked with other griefs, why followed not, when she said Tybalt's dead, thy father or thy mother, nay, or both, which modern lamentation might have moved? But with a rearward following Tybalt's death, Romeo is banished. To speak that word is father, mother, Tybalt, Romeo, Juliet, all slain, all dead. Romeo is banished. There is no end, no limit, measure, bound in that word's death. No words can that woe sound. Okay, so Juliet's going through all sorts of emotions. At first, she's mad at Romeo for killing Tybalt. So she's like, what kind of villain did I marry if
my husband can kill my cousin just 3 hours after we get married. And then she realizes, wait a second, my cousin probably would have killed Romeo if Romeo hadn't killed Tybalt. So then she's like, well, at least Romeo's not dead. And then she goes, wait a second though, Romeo's banished. This is horrible. What am I going to do now? Romeo's banished. So Juliet has mixed emotions. So sad at Tybalt's death, mad at Romeo, and then glad Romeo is alive, but then sad Romeo is banished. So if you need time to write that down, then pause it, but we'll continue on the next page.
Where is my father and my mother, nurse?
Weeping and wailing over Tybalt's corse. Will you go to them? I will bring you thither.
Wash they his wounds with tears? Mine shall be spent when theirs are dry, for Romeo's banishment. Take up those cords. Oh, poor ropes, you are beguiled, both you and I, for Romeo is exiled. He made you for a highway to my bed, but I, a maid, die maiden widowed. Come, cords, come. I'll to my wedding bed. And death, not Romeo, take my maidenhead.
Hie to your chamber. I'll find Romeo to comfort you. I know well where he is. Hark ye, your Romeo will be here at night. I'll to him. He's hid at Florence's cell.
Oh, find him! Give this ring to my true knight and bid him come to take his last farewell.
Okay, so Juliet says if she can't be with Romeo that night, she will kill herself. And then the nurse says, don't do that. I'll go find Romeo and then you can be with each other tonight. And because she wants to have her wedding night with her husband. So she's saying if she'll lie down in her wedding bed where she was supposed to be with Romeo, and if Romeo can't be with me, then I'll die, basically. And so the nurse agrees to go find Romeo, who's hidden at Friar Lawrence's cell, and bring him there that night so that can at least have that one night together before Romeo is banished. Okay, I'm going to stop the video there. We'll continue it after scene 3. This act might take 3 videos because there's a lot going on in Act 3, one of my favorite acts. We'll see you in the next video.